my God. So we're finished up here, day 4. Didn't think I would do anything today. But you know what? You always have to look at, that's why we're here. We're looking ahead. Well, there is a little bit further ahead. I watched every Volstead in Ohio, for the most part, that I was interested in, sell for minimum 3 times what I thought it would go for this year. Now, I didn't know a lot about Volstead. I knew very well that they made nice horses when they went through the sale ring. There was a couple that sold cheap, but they looked like they were going to go a little cheaper. Steve was looking at broodmares, and I happened to see there was a Nuncio mare in foal, a very young mare in foal to no, it's gonna stay on. A Nuncio mare in foal to Volstead. So I'm thinking, we'd watch them go through. You know, they were around $40,000, $50,000 for the most part. All the mares, certainly not Nuncios, but all the mares. Now, this Nuncio mare sold for $20,000 as a yearling, but that's back when they weren't staked to anything. Now they're staked in Kentucky, but back then they weren't staked to anything. They were just Nuncios. So, pretty decently bred mare, good family, in foal to Volstead. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching it. 12, 13, 14, just creeping up. And, you know, quite frankly, buying broodmares isn't like buying yearlings or buying racehorses. Racehorses, you got to make sure they're sound and healthy looking. Yearlings, you got to make sure they're correct, so you get a good head start. Well, broodmares, you just got to see them. They look nice. Brown horse, pretty much it. Looked like a nice horse. She was put together well. Amy and I took some pictures of her after because we bought her. Now, it was kind of an easy buy anyway. We have a number of Ohio clients that want to get involved and stay involved in Ohio. And although we never, ever, ever talk about investing when it comes to yearlings, I would like to invest in Ohio, right? In Ontario, if it makes sense. Places we're at, places we're based out of. So to buy a Nuncio mare in foal to Volstead for $16,000 seemed like a pretty good idea at the time. Mare foals out, you keep it another year at the very most. What's that, Steve? How much more money would that be? Like $12,000, $13,000? So we have the mare. Tops. Let's play tops because we want to be fair to everybody. At tops, we're looking at a $30,000 yearling, and we have the mare for free. That's pretty much how it is. And don't let me make it sound too simple. It's not. As we found out this year with mares, a lot can go wrong. But this one's in full. You don't have to worry about getting in full. She's going to have a full. It is by Volstead. And unless the Volsteads completely fall off the map this year, looked like a pretty good deal to me. So it really wasn't that hard to raise my hand at $16,000, although we're not breeders, although I don't fancy myself a breeder. It seemed like a pretty good deal to me, especially somebody that operates a stable that has a fairly healthy footprint in the state of Ohio. So we are the proud owners. Now we do have a partner. Our partner Joel, one of our clients, Joel, owns mares. Nice old man. Although his taste in pizza is terrible. Can't help that. Joel's a very nice man, and although we've never met in person, I've spoken to him many, many, many times. I knew he'd be interested in this mare, and he was. So I don't know what we're going to do yet. We're probably going to take on some partners with what's her name? S-mare. Babe? What's that mare's name? It's number 1647. Pull it up to 1647. Anyway, regardless, we'll likely take on some partners in the filly. Really excited about that. Not something I came here to do. I came here to look at the racehorses, which we'll talk about in a minute. Came here to look at the brood mares with Steve. Did you end up getting a mare?
Nope.
There you go. Steve didn't get a mare. We did. We are the proud owners of a Nuncio mare in foal to Volstead. So, Dad just continues to take his time looking through the catalog.
Or 1647.
Amy's looking also. Doesn't matter.
Do you have any new
What do I say?
1647.
I don't know. No, it wasn't that
That's
high.
what you said.
No, it was 13 something, wasn't it?
No.
1064? Doesn't matter.
Higher than that.
Anyway, we are the proud owners of a Nuncio mare in full to Volstead. End of story. Get her name another time. What is it?
State Park S.
State Park S. S is for Sweden, or as Amy said, it's Svanstead. Oh, they missed that. Both of them missed it. Oh, that was too funny for you guys to miss.
It's too loud. I hate hearing
I said State Park S, as in Sweden, or Svanstedt. One or the other. So that leads the yearlings closed for the year. We picked up a broodmare this year for Ohio, it appears. And the racehorses. A lot of people asking me, hey, what's going on with the racehorses? You keep talking about maybe getting one. I found 3. 3 that I like. I will divulge one name. The other 2 a little. I'd like to play it a little closer to the vest, if you don't mind. Captain Cowboy, we are interested in, but price. All about price. What's he going to bring? I know we have a lot of people interested in buying a horse like Captain Cowboy. Would he stay at Yonkers? Would he come to Ontario? Stay in Ohio, maybe? I don't know. I'm not sure yet. We still have Pennsylvania. The Meadows is right there. There's lots of options for this horse. First one, I guess, is, as Steve pointed out, he hasn't raced in 2 weeks. Might be worth giving him another 3 off and starting him back up a little fresher. I would think that would be... What's wrong?
You want to drop Steve off?
Do you want off, Steve?
Yeah, I can.
This is your exit here? Yeah, we're at 6:30.
It's only 5, yeah.
Okay, we'll continue on. You're here?
Yep.
And then it's left across the highway on the right, right?
It is so.
Okay. So 3 horses I'm interested in. You're going to have to ask if you want to know what the other 2 are. I can tell you they're of the other gate. 3 horses, 2 trotters, 1 pacer. The pacer is Captain Cowboy. I don't mind telling you Captain Cowboy because I guess it goes for the other 2, but I would like to stay a little more hush-hush on them. So Captain Cowboy obviously is a horse that raced in the Breeders' Crown Final, raced in all major stake races. And for those of you who are involved in that, remember earlier in the summer we tried to acquire a really expensive pacer for the summer, right? This guy was on the short list. Now, we had offered them a lot of money for this horse way back when, and were flatly turned down. I don't blame them. The horse is a sweet little horse. He does everything right. Not a big guy. So he'd be a perfect size if we kept him at Yonkers or raced him at Mohawk. He's built really well. Exactly how he's supposed to be. The horse pays, what, $49.50 all year long. So that's 1 horse on our list, 2 trotters on our list. I've looked at them all. I know which one I like the most. I like Captain Cowboy. He sells first before the other 2, so he can gauge what we want to do. And I will be reaching out to clients to say, hey, would you want to be involved? Because I'm certainly not going to win to buy this horse or any of these horses naked, so to speak. So that will be hi, Steve. That will be a short turnaround. Some news, I guess, closure on a couple of files also. I'm going to send out a video to these clients especially, but just to let everybody know, globetrotting ended up with a small lesion on her left hind suspensory. Now, if this was a racehorse only type situation, easy enough fix, cool cast it, shock it, she could probably race in a month. But considering we are very much planning to breed globetrotting this year, I think we've seen the last of globetrotting on the track, which is upsetting for a number of reasons. You expected to race her for at least another 8 weeks. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to jeopardize and risk hurting this mare for no particular reason. I think the mistake that was made already was made by me. She shouldn't have raced this year at all. She should have been in full in March. And again, as we go down this path, these are all going to be live and learn type situations. She could have made $100,000 this year, and we'd all be high-fiving, saying, "Oh, it's great! You know, we're glad she's racing. Can we race her another year?" It just didn't work out. It didn't work out that way. We brought her back. We tried to race her. She raced good a couple of starts. She won in 55 at Yonkers 2 starts ago. But we are going to put her away sound. She walks sound. You would never know there was anything wrong with her, and if it wasn't for Megan and Scott, we wouldn't have. So it was good for them to catch that. She was a little stiff one morning. Megan did her homework and did her work and went and got the filly ultrasounded and found out that she had a small little lesion there. So it's nothing that would be career ending, so to speak, but when we're so close to breeding this mare, I want her away stress-free. I want her in full in March, and I want to see what we get from her. Now, the reason I'm hesitant to talk about sires is because Steve had told me that you said the Muscles Yankee or the Yankee Glide? Which is it? You can cross with everybody.
Well, Yankee Glide.
Yankee Glide, yeah. So she's a man of many missions who is a Yankee Glide.
Right.
So wide open field, so to speak. We'll be back after a bit, Steve. All right, to get you. What time? 6?
You want to be back here at 6? Perfect.
Well, we can go a little earlier, maybe, and get an earlier table because.
Text me when you're on your way.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So, globetrotting crosses with everybody. Excited. Like I said, I it's hard for me to be super excited about 2022 because it wasn't a good 2022 for globetrotting. You know, she showed that she had talent 2 starts ago and jogged in 55. Come out, probably should have won. Was something starting to brew up in that last race? Yep, I would say so. So I'm glad we caught it. We're going to end up ending her career on a sound note and getting her in full. Now, that I will be completely honest with everybody. For there's going to be people out there saying, we should get her in full of this horse because it's affordable, it's cheap, and we're not going that route. Any of our mares, we're going to get them into the foal to the best sires we can, which leads me to Will to Win Hanover, who we continue to talk about. I know that Steve is interested in Will to Win Hanover. We had shopped her to a couple of breeders who are very interested in Will to Win Hanover. I have, at least quietly, somewhat secured breeding to Walner, which if you were at the sale today, you saw that was going to be very difficult to do. So very happy with that. It's going to be a lot of money to breed Will to Win Hanover. But as I said to Steve, we had looked at a number of mares that were like Will to Win Hanover. There was one filly. Now, breeding to breeding, I guess the one that sold today, a little bit better breeding, but Will to Win Hanover's no slouch. She has Lolique and Farmer Jones in the second dam, who made $1,375,000. 2 of them. The first dam is obviously world champion Crystal Fashion. Will to Win Hanover today trotted 55 and 4, 56. She's probably gonna. What's that? Okay, yep. She'll be closing in on 100,000 when we shut her down, and hopefully she'll take a mark of 55 or 56. If she doesn't, you know what? She certainly wasn't what we hoped she'd be on the track, but make no mistake, the filly I was referring to sold today in full to Walner, a Cantab Hall 3-year-old filly, just like Will to Win Hanover. The breeding, although is different, you have a totally different line. You know, Spider Blue Chip and Southwind Califon and those horses. Strong family. Will to Win Hanover's is no slouch either. $2 million on the front side with Crystal Fashion. $1,300,000 on the second dam. That filly sold today for $205,000. Now, that's not to say if Will to Win Hanover was there today, she would. She's not full, right? This filly was in full, so totally different situation. But to forecast a year in advance, again, that's a stupid thing to do in the breeding industry because you never know. I'm not Hunterton, where we don't have a large consignment. So would we sell Will to Win Hanover? Yes, of course we would. But I'm not going to, as I said to Steve, I'm not giving her away. In fact, I will go as far as to say I will eat her next year rather than give her away for less than what I believe she's worth. By eat her, I don't really mean eat her. She's a big horse. I'm never that hungry. I was talking about Walner. If we put her in full to Walner, that would be a significant investment, and it would be an investment in Will to Win Hanover. One that I would suspect a year from now, if we could forecast it, here is beautiful, big, strong, and she is huge. Big, strong Cantab Hall filly with a strong family behind her and full to Walner. It really wouldn't be hard for me to believe if all things were equal and everything in 2023 remained the same as it did in 2022, which it never does. But if it did, $205,000 isn't far off the mark. Now, don't kid yourself. You still have to feed her. You have to house her at a reputable farm, a big farm. You would have to pay for that Walner breeding, which is fairly expensive, as you can imagine. One full year, one Walner share. So that's a share every year for life of Walner's breeding. Went for $750,000 today, which is like $1 billion. So, I think I don't want to say the wrong thing. So take it for what it's worth. I could be wrong, but I believe that share is 1/120th, which would price Walner at $90 million from today's price, if I'm not mistaken. So, a lot. As you can see, you're starting to see the field now. A lot of variables for somebody who doesn't breed horses. At the same time as I say that, I do have a rough idea what she's worth. I saw it today, and I knew it beforehand anyway. And I'm not giving her away. I would rather completely get obliterated next year at the sale than sell her for next to nothing to someone else. And that's the truth. So you can be along for the ride. I can be Edward S. Smith, and you can be on the Titanic. Or we could do well next year. I don't know which it's going to be. Didn't know I knew who Edward S. Smith did you? You had no idea.
No, I didn't.
You're right. There you go. How'd you like that?
That's impressive.
So that's the scoop on Will to Win Hanover. The bad news, which is it's not horrible news because we were going to stop I wanted to stop globetrotting at Christmas anyway. I think I made another mistake last year and waiting till March trying to get the mares in full. And in fairness, Joel and a couple of our clients warned me that could happen. We ended up with My Jazz not in full and Compass Rose DC not in full. And I guess I have to take some of the blame for that also. The year before, we took the other mare off the track and got her in full quick. So it's easy. Just put the semen in, away you go. It's buns in the oven. Not that easy. So, again, trying to learn from my mistakes. Again, we're probably 4 weeks. We lost 5 starts with globetrotting, 4 or 5 starts, and I know it broke Megan's heart. She looked crushed the other day. That's racing. It's not your fault. She may have went there with that. You know, don't kid yourself. There's lots of horses that race with tiny lesions, as you can imagine yourself. If you ever played sports, you ever go on the field or on the ice 100% healthy, 100% sound? No, probably not. So that's racing, and some good news, I guess, that also comes from some bad news. You guys have been following the 3-point blue chip saga. He did qualify well, then he was very flat, looked uncomfortable in Indiana, and was sore after the race on that foot. You know, that soft surface in Kentucky is wonderful. When you have to go, and this is the thing I had mentioned to Gary, he called and wondered why we weren't racing him in the Breeders' Crown, because there were some concerns. One, with him being fit to race at a top level off 2 qualifiers after fracturing a bone. I didn't think that was a good idea. My other concern was going to a hard track from such a soft track was a problem. So I talked to Tom for a week or so, and I knew Tom and I were kind of on the same page, but we were both kind of beating around the bush. I had the same thought he did. Why don't we breed the horse in New York? Why don't we breed 3-point blue chip? What's the plan here? We're gonna hurt the horse if we try and rush him back again? No, I don't want to do that. Or you're gonna heal him. You're gonna give him another year off or another 5 months off till it's softer in the summer. So we're gonna aim for June of 2023 to come back and get your head beat in because you hadn't raced in a year and a half and you got to race against good horses. I mean, the whole point to have 3-point blue chip in the Breeders' Crown or anything else was to showcase him. So someday he could be a sire. Well, it's hard to showcase him if he's losing. If we brought him back off a year and a half off, trying to race against some real gatekeepers. Oh, I was, honey, you're right. With some real gatekeepers, it becomes a real problem. So, I told him, why don't we just... There's Chapter 7 in New York, and there's a bunch of other horses. It's not even a race. It's not even close. Chapter 7 is so dominant in New York. You know, Credit Winner's, 1 million years old? He's a half-brother to Woolly Mammoth. The horse is 1 million years old. And you have Devious Man. You have EL Titan, but those horses aren't sought after. And that's no disrespect to Tom's other sire or anybody else, but they're not, right? New York could use a pretty good sire right now. This, aside from King of the North, who's going to Indiana, I'm told, is going to be the first Walner sire, definitely in New York, but one of the first Walner sires, I guess, in North America. And don't kid yourself. Here's a horse that won the Matron, looked great, was prepping for, and we can say he was prepping for the Hambletonian. He didn't beat anybody, he didn't qualify. I don't want to overstate him, but he is our horse. We know he's a pretty good horse, and his sister's plunged blue chip. His mother was broodmare of the year last year in the United States. Duncan Donato. There's no slouch. There's nothing to be... I'm not going to be... it's not like we're trying to breed some donkey. So, yeah, why don't we breed him? I think Tom thought long and hard about it for, 2-3 days, and he came back to me and said, fine, do you think your clients will want to stay involved in a partnership? Doesn't need to be anything fancy at this point in time, but would they like to be involved? And I said, well, I suppose some might want to be involved. He said, well, I'll make it easy. I'll give everybody $1,000 that wants out per share. That still prices the horse at $100,000, which is kind of what we paid for him. And with a broken foot and not a lot of options from right now, it's either wait until he gets sound and race him, which I am not. I will be on the record as saying I am not a fan of in the least. Or breed him in New York. You're not going to make any money breeding him until he is proven, which will take 3 years. I see it. Which will take 3 years minimum to do. Look at this. Look at what they're building here. Jeepers. Those are only 2 options. To me, again, for a group of people in a stable that has no interest in breeding horses. Now we got a stud and broodmares, which I guess is kind of cool too. Got a horse to breed too. So with that, those are pretty much your updates. We saw Will to Win Hanover race today. For those of you with Compass Rose DC, you knew that. Even when Compass Rose DC last night, when she was rolling, you couldn't get away seventh. And I don't blame Elliot Deaton. It was her first start back in a millennium. I don't blame him for not, but getting away seventh and trying to swoop them down the backstretch, that's a no-go for her. So we're going to have to pitch that. We'll race her. I'm racing her on Tuesday of next week. So she'll get raced. Will to Win Hanover raced well today. Finished fourth, 155 and 1, trotted in 56. But, the excitement around Will to Win Hanover is in the breeding shed now, not on the racetrack. Globe trotting again. We lost 4 or 5 starts with her. And for the people that want out or wanted out on globe trotting and don't want to be a part of the breeding process, sure. Make you a fair offer, I'm sure, that for what she's worth. Because I'm going to stay in. I've been in for the long haul with that filly since she was 2. I love that mare, even though she didn't have a great year, and even though I felt that I made a mistake, she's still such a nice horse. And Will to Win Hanover, a little bit different situation. It's right here, right? No, this says Sam's Club. Must be over there. Little bit different situation in regards to... where's the Walmart at here, right? Where? It says Sam's Club. What's this guy doing? A little bit different situation when it comes to Will to Win Hanover. What are our best moves forward? I can't say that I'm positive. These guys are all lining up for cheap gas. Wow. I can't say I'm positive. Must be over there. I can't say I'm positive the best move forward, but I'm going to do the best I can in every fiber of my being. Although I had some good feedback from Tim, really nice guy that watches our stuff. Isn't a client of ours, but watches our stuff and is a breeder. He said, that's a slippery slope. That's a sketchy ride. And I get it. I know it is. But I've made up my mind, and we can't always be right. We're going to make mistakes. But this is an industry built around gaming and gambling, and we are going to breed Will to Win Hanover to Walner, or we're going to sell her beforehand, one or the other. But we are going to be paid what she's worth. Anyway, not the greatest news, I guess, not what we were all hoping for with 3-Point Blue Chip or Globetrotting, but brings two very concerning situations to a close and allows us some paths moving forward, some closure on the questions in regard to her. Were you supposed to get it there, babe? Or are you supposed to?
No.
I'll let you out here.
Need my wallet?
Hey, here, you can just take my card. So a little closure for those 2 files, but at the same time, an opportunity and a new horizon for us in regards to globetrotting. One, we always knew we were going down with her. In regards to 3-Point Blue Chip, I guess fast-tracking what we'd like to see the horse race very, very well for some time. The fact that he made it back the way he did was so extraordinary, to complete that fairy tale story with some wins, some win pictures. Dad, I'm aware. I've driven a car before. Thank you. Be doing this. No, I'm not going there. Those people are leaving. They've just had so when the car parks, what happens is the lights stay on a little bit. That doesn't mean that you can take the parking spot. Okay. Anyway, very, very proud of what we did at the sale. The more I look at the book, the more it's not hard. I can convince myself we did a great job, but really when you look at what was available, what we got, what we needed, where we needed to go, and how we were going to get there, we did it. We accomplished everything we were supposed to, and that is my job. So, we do have the racehorses on tap tomorrow. We have 3. I'm going to be upfront with everybody. We have 2 trotters and 1 pacer that I'm very, very interested in tomorrow at the right amount. These are not cheap horses. All 3 of these horses, now I'm not buying all 3, I'll buy 1 of them. All 3 of these horses are likely to bring over 6 figures. Not super high over 6 figures, I would say 130, 140-ish, I would imagine. And for anybody that wants to pay a whole lot more for Captain Corey, or not Captain, they will for Captain Corey, for Captain Cowboy, or any of the other 2 horses, that's fine, but that's not what we're doing. So that is where I'll leave you right now. A great sale. And as I see a couple of texts come in, thank you all very much. I see the shares were just flying off the shelves, so to speak, today, and that is exactly what I wanted to see. We had a lot of people involved before the sale, which is important. It allowed me to do my job. Thank you. But for the people that were waiting after the sale, thank you all very much also. It means a lot. It means that we've done our job well, obviously. Everybody's happy and excited about what 2023 will bring, and we are more than happy to bring it to you the best we can. So with that, I'll let you go. We're going to go to dinner after a little while. Amy's getting something here for a friend. I will talk to you all very soon. Take care.